You're not lazy. You've been told that word your whole life. It's wrong. Right now, there's a task you should be doing. You know exactly what it is, and you're here instead, watching a stickman tell you about it. That's not weakness. That's a 2.5 million-year-old brain doing its job. Here's the part nobody tells you. The ancient part of your brain genuinely cannot tell the difference between a spreadsheet and a lion. To that brain, the report you're avoiding has teeth. So it does the only sensible thing a caveman can do. It runs, every single time. Until a deadline finally corners it. This isn't a character flaw. It's a mismatch. An old brain, a new world, pointed at the wrong threat. And by the end of this, you'll have one trick your cave brain cannot resist. So let's go find out why your brain thinks your job wants to eat you. First, let's kill the lazy story, because it falls apart instantly. If you were lazy, you'd avoid everything equally. But you don't. You'll happily reorganize a closet to avoid one email. You'll deep clean a kitchen you didn't notice yesterday. You'll do hard things, as long as they're not the thing. That's not laziness. Laziness doesn't work that hard. You're not avoiding effort. You're avoiding a feeling. And to see which feeling, you need to meet the two brains fighting inside your head. Because right now, two completely different stickmen are running you. Stickman number 1 is old. Very old. He lives in a part of your brain called the limbic system. Call him the caveman. He has exactly one job. Spot the predator before it spots you. He is fast. Stupidly fast. He decides in about 12 milliseconds. He cannot read. He cannot plan. He doesn't do next week. He just feels danger and he moves. That's it. That's the whole caveman. Stickman number 2 is the new guy, the planner. He lives up front, behind your forehead, in the prefrontal cortex. He's the one who knows the report is due Friday and matters for your career. He's wise. He's responsible. And he is painfully slow. So here's the fight, and here's the part where everyone gets it wrong. You think the planner is in charge? He is not. Let me show you what actually happens when you open your phone instead of starting. You glance at the task. The caveman sees the dread on your face, the fear of doing it badly, the overwhelm of not knowing where to start. He can't read the report, but he can read that, and to him, that feeling is a lion. So he fires. 12 milliseconds. Run. And here's the brutal part. Your planner hasn't even loaded the page yet. By the time you decide to check your phone, you already checked it. You're not scrolling because you chose to. You're scrolling because you already fled. That's the whole machine. A threat alarm, pointed at a piece of paper. Now, you might be thinking, fine, but that's just me being weak. So in 2018, scientists put that idea in a brain scanner. And it lost. A team at Ruhr University Bochum scanned 264 healthy adults. They measured the caveman's headquarters, the amygdala, in chronic procrastinators. And in the people who put things off the most, that alarm center was physically bigger. Their threat alarm was literally built louder. And the wire from the alarm to the act on it part of the brain was weaker. Read that again. It's not a discipline problem. It's wiring. So when someone tells you to just try harder, they're yelling at your bicep. The problem was never the muscle. It was the alarm. Okay, second twist. And this one is the math your brain does without telling you. Your brain compares two things, relief now versus reward later. And the caveman always trusts now. Because for 2.5 million years, later was a gamble. Now was survival. A reward you can't see today gets shrunk down to almost nothing. Scientists named this. It's called temporal discounting. And in 2024, a study tracked it in real life. Not a lab, real days. The more steeply you discount the future, the more you procrastinate. Measurable. So when you know you should start but you scroll anyway. That's not a broken will. That's a brain solving the wrong equation correctly. It nailed the answer to a question from 50,000 years ago. And then there's the third brain, the one that makes it worse. Every time you avoid the task, you don't just dodge it. You also feel terrible about it. And here's the trap most people never see. The guilt makes the task feel even scarier, which makes you avoid it more. Avoid, feel guilty, dread it more. Avoid harder. A loop. That loop is the actual reason this can swallow a whole week. So sit with what your brain is really doing here. You're not managing your time badly. You're managing your discomfort. And honestly, you're doing it brilliantly. The avoidance works. The dread drops for an hour. Two scientists, Cycle and Sirowas, spelled this out. Procrastination is not a time problem. It's an emotion problem. Your caveman is trading your whole afternoon for 1 hour of feeling okay. He thinks he's saving you. He's the reason you're still not started. So now you know the enemy. Which means we can finally trick him. You can't argue with a 2.5 million-year-old alarm. It doesn't speak your language. You can't out-discipline it either. It's faster than your willpower every time. So you don't fight the caveman. You fool him. 3 ways. Trick 1. Shrink the predator. The caveman reacts to how big the threat looks, not how big it is. So don't tell yourself to write the report. That's the full lion. Tell yourself, just open the document. Just 5 minutes. That's a house cat. The caveman doesn't run from a house cat. So you sit down, and then you keep going. Trick 2, and this one feels too simple to work. Say the feeling out loud. Name it. I'm anxious about this because I'm scared it'll be bad. When you label a feeling in words, your slow planner brain switches on. And the alarm, the amygdala, actually turns its volume down. Studies on this kind of labeling suggest it can drop that alarm by roughly 40% or more. One honest sentence beats 2 hours of hiding from yourself. Trick 3. And this is the one people refuse to believe. Drop the guilt. Not because it's nice. Because guilt is fuel for the loop. Beating yourself up makes the task more frightening, so you avoid it harder. Being kind to yourself isn't soft. It quietly lowers the threat. So you can start. Same data, 2024. Less self-punishment, less discounting, less avoidance. So here's where this actually lands. Every person who ever stared at a blank page and suddenly needed to clean the fridge, they weren't broken. Their caveman was doing exactly the job he evolved to do. He was guarding you from a lion that was never there. The mismatch is not your fault, but the trick is yours to use. So next time you freeze, don't ask what's wrong with you. Ask what the caveman is scared of. Then shrink it, name it, forgive it. You don't need a stronger brain. You need a smaller lion. So go open the document. Just open it. That's the whole house cat. Your brain was never the enemy. It just needed a smaller lion.